Hello again, YouTube friends. So in the last video, we were looking at drywall and paint and stuff like that, and it was really starting to look like a real place, with the exception of there's no lights or not much lights. Um, and another thing we were noticing after working in there all summer in the heat was it was time to get some air conditioning going. So we'll look at those two things, as well as gutters. We had bought the place, didn't really notice at that time that there weren't any, but it definitely needed them. So that was something else we ended up doing. So as I mentioned, we had decided to put a split system in each of the main rooms. And so this is some pictures of doing that. I got, when I ordered the systems, I got the, I don't know what you call it, trim or track or something, this plastic stuff to help cover up the line set. I think that was worth doing. Um, I think if you're going to put one of these in, Um, first of all, I recommend having somebody do it. This was one of those things that was a lot more work than what I thought it was going to be, and I think I'd have been happier to pay someone else to do it in retrospect. Um, but I think it's worth, um, first of all, covering up the line set with some kind of trim like this, and then second of all, trim the line set. Don't use the whole length. Um, I've heard that some of the manufacturers require a minimum amount of line set. Um, the the system we bought does not require any minimum amount of line. And I think it looks a lot tidier to not just have a big coil of line sitting there outside, you know. Here's the inside unit, blowing cold air, outside unit hooked up. Yeah, there you can get a better view of the connections. See, I think that looks a lot tidier than having a big coil of lines there. Sorry, those are sideways. You're gonna get a kink in your neck looking at them. So I ended up running these this summer. Last summer, didn't get them in until late in the season and didn't really get a big chance to use them. But this summer, we used them quite a bit. And like in July, I think we ran them all month, and I think the electric bill was like $60. So I'm pretty happy with the efficiency, but between the efficiency of the unit and the amount of insulation we got in, I don't think it's too costly to keep that place at a nice temperature. One of the things that was missing when we bought the place and didn't strike me right at first was gutters. Um, but you got to have them. You can't just have water coming down right next to the building. Um, it was trying to come in, as I had mentioned, the front door, although we were pretty well able to fix that by getting the pad sloped away from the building rather than towards it. But it was trying to come in the garage door too. And took a couple of different steps to mitigate that. I used the diamond wheel on an angle grinder to grind the lip along, the outside part of the slab so it would slope away from the building rather than in toward it. And I also found a product, it's like a rubber strip that glues to the floor under the garage door seal. And you can drive over it, it's like a little hump, but it gives the water, it kind of encourages the water to go out rather than in as well. The ends were a little tricky to handle and um, also do it in a way that mice wouldn't be able to sneak in. They'll chew out here where we're at least, they'll chew the plastic weather strip on the outside and just come right in the corner of the door if you let them. And so I reinforced the weather strip with some aluminum sheet and then made some kind of funny little aluminum things to block the gap between the door seal and the bottom door seal and the outside weather strip to keep their little noses from poking in there. We haven't had any more trouble with them since then. And between angling the slab away and the gutter, we haven't had any water coming in either, so that's good. We didn't have the gutters up very long before we got a chance to see them work. I still got to do something like they don't go real far out away from the building, and all of that water coming down. I gotta do something to spread it out better. That'll be a project probably yet this fall. So I had mentioned all of these lights. I said earlier, never been in a shop where I said there was too many receptacles. Never been in one I said there was too many lights either. So I put plenty. Actually found a nice calculator online where you can say, how many lumens you want, the the work surface height, and then help figure kind of the density of lighting and type of lighting that you need to achieve that. It ended up working out. I was able to measure it after the fact with a light meter and hit the target I was going for. This was kind of one of those projects where um, it's just repeating the same thing a bunch of times. So able to get on a roll, get the baker adjusted to the right height, just cruise along, and have a pretty cool result at the end. Put these lights in the workroom too, although there's some can lights in there as well, in case you just wanted to hang out and watch some TV at the end of a weekend or something before you head home. There's those pendant lights too you can see in the background that I had mentioned. We ended up making those up out of parts. There's places online where you can order the wire and the top part and the bottom part and the cage and everything separate and make up, what you'd like. And we for this room, our accent color is going to be red, and so we got the red and white cord. I think it came out pretty slick. Over here in the corner, my wife's thinking to put a drafting table, and we got this crazy big, cool looking Edison style bulb. But what's really wild to me is the inside of it is not a filament. It's like LED, like those flexible LED cobs or whatever you call them, and it's dimmable. And oh man, it just looks really slick. These are filament bulbs, but they're like three kinds different, and so each one's got a different pattern in the filament. Yeah, here's the light meter checking it out. Ended up hitting what I was going for. Man, I ordered these bulbs or the LED tubes online, and the company I got them from just had a heck of a time getting them to me in one piece. If it wasn't one thing, it was another. They tried a bunch of different ways of packing them, and they did finally get it. But boy, they busted a bunch figuring out how. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. One of these, yep, there's a button for it, and that lets YouTube know that you like what we're doing, and helps them know to show it to other folks who maybe like the same kind of things you do. And if this is the kind of thing you're into, I think we still got probably three more videos, I think, before we wrap up the main building project. And then after that, I think we'll be looking at some more ham radio stuff again, maybe an antenna tower and putting up an antenna, that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, like I say, if that's the kind of thing you're into, please hit the subscribe button. There's a little bell next to that you can click on to get notified right away when our videos come out. Our videos come out. They're yours too. We can share them. And if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, or tips that might help somebody else who's doing something like this, please don't hesitate to put them down in the comments. Love hearing from folks. It's a big part of the value I get out of putting these videos up is to get to meet people and talk to my internet friends. So, till the next one.